Hi, my name's Joella, and today I want to talk about how Barbie movies literally shaped my reading taste. I honestly don't think I'd be reading like fantasy books if it wasn't for like Barbie movies. I know it sounds like I'm giving Barbie movies a lot of credit, but you know what? Give credit where credit is deserved. So I took the time to Google and check all the Barbie movies that I enjoyed all the way from 2001 to 2012, I think, and I have a lot to say on how these movies really shaped what I enjoy, even media that I intake and why I enjoy it. And I don't know what really like led me to thinking about this, but I think I was talking to a friend actually, and then she was like, she's not really into like those like kings and queens, like monarchy systems and like that type of time period. She's not really into shows or movies like that. Like she enjoys stuff like The Witcher, but she's not like hardcore invested into shows like that like the way I am. But she'll love a show like Money Heist, like something more real time like shows and stuff. That's like her place to go. She wouldn't like go out of her way to watch like a period drama because it's not something that she, enjoys or just drifts to. And I was thinking, why do I enjoy that? And I really think it's because of Barbie, and this is why. Starting from the very beginning, little me, young me, watching The Nutcracker. Barbie the Nutcracker was the staple, was like the bae, the number one. My first love was Barbie and the Nutcracker. Clara was bae. I'm not talking about the Four Realms movie. No. I'm talking about like original Clara with like the hair and then the curls at the end and then the poof and then the ooh. You can tell I love that movie. So the Barbie movies that influenced me the most were the ones from 2001 all the way to 2009. And these are the ones. Let me name them for you real quick. And I'll pop up the pictures just to make it more fun. Okay. Barbie and the Nutcracker. Barbie Rapunzel. Barbie Swan Lake. Barbie Princess and the Pauper. Chef's kiss. Barbie Fairytopia. Barbie Pegasus. Fairytopia Mermaidia. 12 Dancing Princesses. Fairytopia Fairy Rainbow, is it? I think so. The rainbow one. You know the one. Island Princess, Mariposa, Diamond Castle, Christmas Carol, Thumbelina, but we don't really talk about Thumbelina. Honestly, that movie wasn't that great. But anyway, and Musketeers! All these movies are really iconic for me. And I think why I drift to more period dramas and just stuff like that type of era, is really because of these movies. Because these movies are the ones I watched the most. I got like cassettes for them. I got like DVDs for them. And it was just, it was wonderland watching these films. And most of them are set in those like, poofy whale tail dresses. Those poofy ones like this. I want one so bad, like in pink or blue. I don't even think that Barbie the movies influence, I don't think it just went towards books, but also towards things I just generally enjoy. Like I enjoy watching ballet. I am mesmerized when I watch ballets and plays, like in general. When there's ballet involved, it just, ooh. Let me give you a breakdown of how each movie influenced me in some way. So the first four, I'd say Nutcracker, Swan Lake, Rapunzel, and Princess and the Pauper. These ones really got me to the idea of, retellings, because they were all retellings, obviously. I think it's quite interesting how Barbie took a spin off of these actual stories and then made it its own and its own little lessons involved. And I think it's really cool, because once I was older and I checked where these stories came from, because in my mind growing up, I was kind of like, oh, Barbie made these stories. This is all Barbie stuff. But then I went and out of my way and actually like found the real content where it actually came from. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, wow, a retelling. That's actually really cool. And then now I enjoy reading retellings and it's like, oh, look at that. A movie like 12 Dancing Princesses is also like a huge influence. I just really enjoy the idea of seeing little princesses running around and trying to figure out their lives. And I think that's why I enjoy stories like that. Because there's one book that I really like, which kind of gives me that kind of aesthetic of princesses, or a princess rather, just trying to figure things out. And that's this book right here, Long May She Reign. It was one of those like, princess just trying to do the things that she needs to do. And it's like, oh. Another thing that influenced my reading taste as well was just the atmosphere that Barbie movies created of like wonder and magic and this very nice feeling of, I don't know, like you're really being immersed, like you're taken and transported into this whole new story and you are not in the real world anymore. That storytelling element, that immersion that I felt into this like wonderland, I think I feel that the most from period dramas or like, books about those type of time periods, or not even, doesn't even have to be that time period, but like even like a fantasy land that has that aesthetic where like the women wear like dresses like that, or even like pants, like whatever they're wearing, but not modern day clothing. It's so much easier for me to fall into that and have that disbelief and like not question it as I would with like sci-fi. Like sci-fi is great, don't get me wrong, but I fall into it way more. I fall into that haze of like enjoying a book really like deeply inside it and even learning every intricate part of that world. I got that definitely from that kind of olden vibe about books and movies and shows. Like that's my region of settlement. Barbie and the Musketeers, I loved that movie growing up. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I even went out of my way and actually got my own physical copy of the Three Musketeers, and favorite character has to be D'Artagnan. Ooh, babes. I really loved how in the movie for Barbie, like the main character chick, oh, what's her name again? Corinne. I really liked Corinne. Her dad's name was D'Artagnan. Just like, you know, Three Musketeers guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, all the connections. And then like King Louis and his cousin Philippe. And I was like, oh, the connections. Versailles, Barbie. And I was like, this is why I love these shows. Another great one was Island Princess, just like this whole like, oh, she's lost in the island, but she's actually a secret royal. Maybe that's why I'm sick of secret royal movies, because I've seen this movie so many times growing up that I've actually, you know, I think I'm desensitized from the shock of like, oh, she's actually a princess, you know, like I won't lie, I actually don't like that plot line because I feel like it's very obvious from the beginning that this is going to be a secret royal kind of story because this girl is so special. But hey, I mean, I guess that kind of shaped my reading taste because I loved Island Princess, but I just needed one secret royal in my life. I didn't need any more. I'm not interested in any more secret royal plot lines in books. Like, no, stop. What other movie was there? Ooh, all of the Fairytopia movies were very like, I don't know, they all slapped different compared to the other Barbie movies. Like those ones, like, you know, like Princess and the Pauper and all that. Like those ones, they didn't slap the way Fairytopia slapped. Like Fairytopia, ooh, that trilogy. What was that girl's name? I keep forgetting. Elena. Oh yeah, Elena and Bibble and her home. What was it? It was a flower. It was called oh, her home was called Peony, and I was like, oh, because it's actually a flower and it's called a peony. And I was like, oh my gosh, all the connections when I'm older, because I didn't know that the actual flower was called Peony and looked like that. And I was like, wow. I'm just learning so much from Barbie. I didn't mention any of the movies that came after 2009 because I don't really like those ones. Like, I don't mind them, but yeah, Dolphin Tale story can leave me be. Barbie and Sisters, the puppy chase can go to hell. So I just wanted to make this video just to, like, you know, talk about how, or rather where my reading taste came from, why I gravitate towards fantasy books with those magical stuff, and you know, why that's my domain when it comes to reading, because I do like other things. I can read contemporaries, I actually do enjoy them. I enjoy African lit contemporaries, I do enjoy those, and you know, I can take sci-fi. I really enjoy it. I've recently finished, okay, by recently I mean a few months ago, I finished Red Rising trilogy and I really liked it. But my domain is always fantasy, and I think that's really shaped by Barbie movies, because those are the ones that I think I took in like at a younger age before I even started watching Disney movies, because Disney movies for me came at a later stage in my childhood. So definitely I think my biggest influence is Barbie movies for me. Like personally, that was where it's at, and I think that's why I pick certain books and why I like certain characters as well. Because the thing about Barbie's characters is that they were annoying sometimes, but not all of them were annoying. Hey, like I feel like a good 70% of Barbie movie characters were actually decent human beings. Like they weren't like annoying me to the point where I was like, oh, this protagonist is a waste of time. I think the only Barbie character that I kind of was annoyed by was Mariposa, because I felt like she just had this like, I don't know, this arrogance about her, and I just was not there for it at all. But all the other ones, I really loved them because they seemed very honest and kind, like genuinely kind. Yeah, I think that's something that I really cherish about main characters, even in books now. Of course, I've taken a more mature tone. Like, I love Geralt of Rivia. I mean, he's not exactly a perfect human being, but I think what I love most about Geralt, for example, is his moral standing and how he has these codes of conduct for himself. You know, like he's just, you know, I can't put it into words, but he's very like, I'm sorry. Geralt is one of those characters that has a lot of dignity for themselves, and he just takes himself very seriously, and he's an overall just great like character. I have nothing else to say. And I think that those parallels with the type of characters I like definitely comes from Barbie movies. Like this character which has, dang, a character that has a lot of honor and a genuine human being. I think something about the aesthetic of Disney, keep saying Disney, Barbie movie characters from that time, they were very like, you know, strong, and I really like that. Like I can see that there's certain parallels between characters that I really, really like and characters that I don't, because most characters that I don't like are those that are just like not very like witty or like piss me off. Like Feyre, I couldn't deal with Feyre at all. I didn't like Feyre. I think she just didn't work into the mindset of a character that I always enjoy. But a character like Shazad right here, I think that's how you pronounce the name. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but from I really like the main character in The Wrath on the Dawn. I loved her. I think because she had that same, I don't know, that same like there was one way, like her mind was in one way and this is how she thinks. And even though things changed in her story as well, she didn't like completely betray her past like moral standing or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, there's just certain things that I love about characters that I think was very much built on from Barbie movies, and it's very interesting to see how similar my taste is from when I was younger and how it's kind of transitioned over the years, and now it's more gritty. Definitely I'm into a character who can kill monsters now, but I still very much appreciate those core things about a character that I just really value. You know, not everyone values the same things, but we have a rough idea. I think as fantasy nerds, we get very similar main characters that have a certain type of aesthetic, like Kelsier from Mistborn or Geralt of Rivia. I'm gonna use him again because he's like the one I can think of right now. I'm busy reading The Witcher. Like these type of characters we see a lot in the fantasy world, and it just happens to be perfect for me. And I think that's why a lot of us enjoy fantasy so much, like those who really hardcore fantasy fans. I think there's something about these characters that just makes us that just draws us to them. For me, that happens to be because of, I don't know, just this aesthetic of the Barbie princess characters. They did something for me. I think they were just these core elements about them. That's why they always felt a bit repetitious, because they were very similar. Swan Lake Barbie was very similar to Rapunzel Barbie. They were strong, but they didn't have to shout to show it. You know, they just had to be. And you could see it through their actions. It was always show, don't tell with Barbie characters. And I thought that was something that I think is so commendable. And, you know, something I can say, I can applaud Barbie for that. Definitely created characters I could root for and I genuinely enjoyed. I still enjoy these movies now. I show my sister these movies and she loves them as well. And, you know, it's, I think that's a good foundation, or at least one piece of the foundation that really solidified my reading taste. Will I always read fantasy for the rest of my life? I hope so. But I think Barbie movies definitely solidified my fantasy standing and a lot of the whys behind why I like fantasy. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you can let me know what influenced your taste in fantasy or sci-fi even. You know, what influenced you? What was something in your childhood that influenced you to read what you read now? It doesn't even have to be your childhood, it can even be later on, or just a favorite book that led to reading other books like it, you know. Just let me know. All right, thank you for your time and goodbye.